What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hanna Horror here, and today we are ranking the Sleepaway Camp franchise. This is a response video to my good buddy, Hey Isn't That Devon Graham on YouTube. He is a huge Sleepaway Camp fan, and I like it too. And I've seen all the movies, and he has a ranking on his channel, and mine's going to be a little bit different. So I thought, time for me to drop my list of the Sleepaway Camp franchise, a franchise that is really, really fun, F-U-N. That's the perfect word to describe Sleepaway Camp as a series. So let's get started. We have 4 films to rank. Coming in dead last for me is The Return to Sleepaway Camp. Now here's the thing about Return to Sleepaway Camp. I still think it's a really incredibly fun movie, but add an NY to it, funny, because it's over-the-top ridiculous. There's hilarious shots of guys getting killed, and then they have these extremely long shots of them screaming, just, ah! It's so freaking hilarious. It may not be on the level of Troll 2, so bad it's good, but it is definitely in the category of so bad it's good. I don't own a copy of Return to Sleepaway Camp, but I will say that the movie is definitely one that you should at least experience once in your life. I've seen the movie on IFC maybe years ago. I had no idea what I was watching until I was like, what is Return to Sleepaway Camp? But I watched it, and it was almost like it almost seemed like a Disney movie for a second. I don't know why I felt like that. I guess it's just because of the camp and stuff, but soon enough, I really learned that this was no Disney movie. But Return to Sleepaway Camp, while it's number 4 in the list, it's still number 1 in my heart. Okay, so the next 3 are between Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, and 3. Now, these films are all awesome. I love all of these. We're in the clear from the get-go. Like I said, I enjoy all of these, but this is really like picking a favorite kid because there's a lot of fans for the 2 sequels, 2 and 3, and then there's a lot of fans for the original. I don't know which one you would say is the best made. I guess I'll kind of get into that, maybe, but this is just my personal opinion and the way that I like these 3. Coming in at number 3 for me is Sleepaway Camp 2. Now, I love Sleepaway Camp 2, guys. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously 2 others that I enjoy more. This one hits a lot of nerves on me that I really enjoy. This one hits me in a lot of spots that I love. I don't really have anything bad to say about Sleepaway Camp 2. Pamela Springsteen is just lovely in the Sleepaway Camp movies. It's a shame she doesn't come out and talk about these movies and do more for them because the fans would go nuts. I mean, these movies are cult classics, so I wish she would come out, but like I said, nothing bad to say about Sleepaway Camp 2. I absolutely love it. Coming in at number 2 for me is Sleepaway Camp, the first one. Now, for the longest time, I was really one of the people that was more of a fan of the sequels, but something happened, guys. With this Sleepaway Camp movie, I was just telling my buddy Devon, I got this new 55-inch 4K TV, and I popped this movie in that I'd seen maybe 5 or 6 times in my life, along with the sequels. Something about watching this movie really early in the morning, really quiet outside, and being sunk into this really dark room with this big TV right in front of me, watching this movie, it felt really real and authentic, and something about it just really clicked with me, and I enjoyed the movie more than I ever have. And this was an experience I had this morning with this film, and the ending really is shocking when you see it larger than life, and it kind of is really worth it. I mean, that end scene is really worth it. But the story is actually really nice in Sleepaway Camp. I really do like it. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a big TV to enjoy this. I'm just saying for me, re-experiencing this movie for the first time in a dark horror room with a big TV and a nice comfy couch early in the morning, this movie clicked with me more than it ever has, and I really love it. But there is one Sleepaway Camp that I love the most. My number 1, and I don't know that anybody else would agree with this, but this is just my personal taste. My number 1 is Sleepaway Camp 3. Now, what I love about Sleepaway Camp 3 is obviously the opening sequence is just so heavy metal. There's something about Pamela Springsteen in this movie that I love even more. She's more heavy metal. She's more dirty looking. Her hair is wild. It's untamed. She's just more rock and roll in this one to me. Obviously, in the second Sleepaway Camp, she's more pure and nice. But that's also what people really like about Pamela in part 2 is she does have the nice, good girl look, and she's the murderer. But I like her in part 3 because she's more heavy metal and just Rough Rider looking. And this movie is just perfect to me in the sense of all the sugars and spices and everything's nice that I like in a campy slasher movie. I love this movie. It's just my favorite. I'm not saying I think it's the best made one. I would say that the first one is probably the most well made. I don't know. I do think the first one is very well made. Looking back and watching it, in my opinion, low budget horror movie, in that sense, but still really enjoyable. But this third Sleepaway Camp, I love it. I love the songs from Obsession. The Method of Madness is just so incredibly awesome. I love the song. I love Pamela Springsteen in this movie. She has the right vibe for me that I enjoy the most. So there it is, guys. That's my ranking of the Sleepaway Camp movies. Please tell me what your favorite Sleepaway Camp film is. If you've seen Return to Sleepaway Camp, because it is kind of maybe a forgotten film, so to speak. I didn't find it on purpose. I found it on accident, but I did see it. But this is a great slasher franchise, guys. It's about as classic and cult as you can get. It's got its fans, and the fans are going nowhere. So there it is, guys, my ranking. Please drop your list, like I said. Tell me your favorite in the franchise. Also, check the description for the Teespring and the Patreon for all the music you hear in my videos. They're in that Patreon for $3 and up on the Patreon tier. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.